that.
We're
All right.
recording.
All right, floor is yours.
Okay, well, thanks for everyone to be here. I have been making origami for a long time, and I've also been teaching origami for a long time. And when we say origami, we mean folding paper to take different shapes. I have, which I'll bring out in a minute, a couple of things that I like to do, and then we will get to our activity, which is going to be making an origami boat. So I started making origami, I'd say, when I was about your age, 7, 8, 9, something like that. I learned actually at the Museum of Natural History in the city. And what I am particularly interested in, which we're not going to do today, but what I like to do is I like to make very, very small origami. So I have a couple of that to show you. Now first, because I'm new to Zoom, am I big on everyone's screen? Can you give me a thumbs up if I'm big on your screen? Yes? Okay. Because otherwise you're not going to be able to see what I did. So I like to make very small miniatures. So for example, you probably can't see it that well, but you can see it in scale. And what that is a miniature crane in there. That did not come up well on my screen. This is a bunch of miniature cranes. It looks like a tree, but each one of the little leaves is actually a crane. And you can see from my hands kind of the scale. So maybe at some point I can send around pictures that are a little bit clearer than the pictures that coming in through Zoom. Another example of what I like to do, this is a Lego. And again, it's probably a little blurry, but there are 4 cranes, 1 little crane for each prong of the Lego piece. And another example is this is a dragon. Maybe you can see that one a little bit better. No, it's a little blurry on mine, but you can see it's pretty small. So that's my interest. And if you're interested in making miniature origami, very small origami, what you need to do is you need to start big and work your way down because it gets complicated. Now let's turn to what we're going to do today. So let me show you what we're going to make. This is a boat. You can see kind of here. It's a little blurry again on my screen, but we'll see. Show it to you in a different color. This is one that's just, I used a magazine piece of paper. And just in the spirit of miniature, I made this little boat, which you're not going to be able to see, but you'll just have to take my word for it. It's very small. That helps me learn how to make it because I really like making things small. But today we're going to do it big. Now, I've taught origami a lot, and usually when I teach origami, I walk around a room and I help the people when they need help, which is going to not be something that we're going to be able to do today through Zoom, especially with as many people who are on this as there are. So we're going to do the best we can. I may do it twice so that you see it. Don't get frustrated if it doesn't work out right away. If you contact me, if your parents are okay with that, if your parents contact me rather, I can send you a link to a video online, or if you don't have, or you can look at this video again to kind of get in your head how to do it. And it takes a little bit. But for me anyway, one thing that helps a lot that I didn't have when I was your age was YouTube. I think it's a lot easier to learn how to do this on YouTube than it is through the paper instructions. So I was just actually practicing the boat with a child who's very good to try and figure out how to teach this online, and he does it through paper instructions. So it's not impossible to do it through paper instructions, but I find seeing it really is helpful. So we're going to start with making the boat. You need a rectangle, okay? And so I recommend you have printer paper. How thick the paper is matters. Printer paper is fine. I did it first with construction paper. That was not a very good thing to do. It was too thick. Now, one thing to keep in mind when we start is the orientation of the paper. And what I mean by that is how it's positioned, because it gets confusing. Particularly, this is a piece of paper that's white on both sides. So like a lot of origami paper, it's colored on one side. It gives you a reference point. You're not going to have this here. So I'm going to go very slowly, and at every step, I'm going to make sure we're oriented correctly. So you really need to listen and make sure your orientation is the same as the way my paper is oriented, because otherwise it gets very confusing. So with that, we're going to begin. We have a rectangle. We have 2 short sides and 2 long sides. What we're going to do first is we're going to fold the long sides in half. Okay, so fold it the long way first. I'm going to just put the paper down to make the crease, make a nice firm crease on the table. And then I'll lift it back up. But that's the first step. Do the long side of the rectangle first. Now, very good. I can see some of it. This was the easy first step. We're going to open it up again. Okay, so a lot of origami is folding and unfolding. Open it up. Okay, so now you should have the full piece of paper again. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fold it the other way. So we're going to fold the 2 short sides of the paper together. So now I want you to fold the 2 short sides of the paper together. Okay. Okay, so that's the way it should look. Let's see if you can. Can you see my crease in the middle? I can't see it on my screen, but anyway, you're folded. You're going to keep it. You're going to keep that short side that you folded. Keep it folded. So we're not unfolding it again. Okay. Now you'll notice. Well, first of all, let's talk about the orientation of this paper. So you've got flaps that are opened up at the bottom. What I would do, I'm holding mine up, but if I were you, it might help to point the open flaps towards your stomach. So that's what you would be doing if you're doing it on, if you're folding it on a piece of paper. So there's a line down the middle because you made that first fold, which was the long fold. And what you're going to do is you're going to fold each of the sides to the middle. So I'm going to do one to show you what I mean. So it's like that, okay? You're using the line down the middle as the reference point. You're making sure that these open flaps at the bottom don't fold it up the other way. They should remain open, okay? So you're not folding it like this. Leave that down. And then you're going to fold this side over as well. So let me just do that. And then I'll show you what it looks like. Most of origami, which is true in this case, is symmetrical, so which means that you do the same thing on both sides. And that's pretty much most of these, whatever you do on one side, you're going to do it on the other. It's not 100%, but it's pretty close to that. So this is the shape you should have, okay? And what I'm stressing again is you should be able to take your fingers and feel the flap in between there. So we want this to be open. And I'm just showing you again that this is how it needs to be oriented. Because if you folded this up, it's not going to work. That's the wrong way to do it. You have 2 flaps like this. It kind of looks like a house shape. So now I'm going to tell you the next part. The next part involves this rectangular part at the bottom, okay? And what you sometimes do in origami is you make a fold So you have a reference point more than actually, so you have something that is functional. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to want you to make a fold so that you fold the rectangle over. So where this is, just fold the rectangle over. And I'm going to show you what I mean. I'll try and do it a little bit in the air, though it's hard. Doesn't even matter what side, how you fold it over on which side, but you're going to fold it. So I'm going to do it on one side. So you know, so that rectangle piece has a fold. And then you're going to unfold it, okay? I just want you to be able to see the line there better, okay? So again, if you have this shape, you fold it because I want you to be able to use the line that that fold is making as a reference point, and then you can unfold it. Okay. So the next part, now remember there are two flaps at the bottom, they should open. And what you're going to do this move 4 times, twice on one side, and then turn the model over and do it twice on the other. And what you're going to do is you're going to take this little flap here and fold it up to that line that you just made with the rectangle. So that little flap should be folded up just to the line. It's a very small triangle you're making. Not sure you can see the piece of paper, but you can see my finger, and it's just this little triangle here. And you don't fold both flaps up, just fold one. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just fold this up a little bit. So you have another little triangle. I'll show you with my finger in case you can't see it on the screen, but it's a teeny triangle, and you know where to fold the triangle to because you just made that line. Then you are going to flip your model over, and you're going to do the same thing again. So you're going to take this little corner here and fold this up. All right. And now you can see you have a defined edge here because you had already folded the other one up. So there's nothing to make that shape anymore. And then you're going to do it again where you fold that up. So this should be what your model looks like now. The triangles were just folded up to this rectangular line here. Okay, so the next step is pretty simple. Again, remember you have 2 flaps down here. You're going to take one flap, and you already have that rectangular line, and you're just going to fold it up. So it should look like this. Okay, so you, just in case you didn't see that, it's down, flip it up. If I go back from the camera, I think you might be able to see them a little better. You're going to, it doesn't matter which one you do, which flap you do first, because you're going to do it both ways. Then you're going to turn it over, and you're going to fold the other flap up. So now you have another triangle again. And you're going to, so again, you had this flap, it's going up. It's folding along that small rectangular line that you had made when you folded the corners in. And that was really, in my opinion, the hard part of this. There's a couple of interesting moves that you make afterwards, but if you've gotten this far, you're in pretty good shape. So as you can see, you can stick your hand in here, okay? This is what it looks like over here. And you're going to do kind of what is called in origami a squash move. It's kind of like what it sounds, where you flatten something or squish something. This is what you're going to do, and I'll show you twice. You're going to flip it like this. So you go from here, just push it in. You're holding your the fingers where the bottom part is, and you just push it in like that. So now you should have a square. All right. Now let's talk about orientation again. If the orientation should be, again, that the flaps where you can open your model are at the bottom. And also, I don't know if you can see in my model, but you should it should be lined at the bottom. The bottom half of the model kind of has a strip of paper going through it. So if you can't see it, it's like this. So the next move is you're going to turn this back into a triangle. And the way you're going to do it is you're going to take one of these flaps and you're going to fold this up. There's just one flap, don't do both of them. And then you're going to flip it over and fold the remaining flap the other way. And you have a triangle again. Okay? You should still have the ability to open this up. I'll give you a minute. You can go over and sometimes it's good to crease everything tightly. When you have nice creases on the paper, things work better. So I'll give you guys a minute to do that. This model is pretty forgiving. Sometimes in origami, it has to be perfect or it doesn't work. So in this one, it really perfection's not necessary. So we have got two, if you can believe it, we have 2 moves left until you see this. So the question is, how do you get from this to this in 2 moves? So the first one is you're going to do a squash fold again. So you're going to open this up and you're going to change it into a square. Just to show you one more time, it was like this. Push it in on itself and you have a square. And again, for the orientation of the model, you still have 2 flaps at the bottom. Don't work on those flaps. They're not doing anything. But the flaps that are parallel to the part that opens up here, that's where you're going to do your last move, which is going to transform this into a boat. And so what you're going to do is you're going to pull on the exterior flaps up here. Again, if you look where you're looking, this is where it's open. Don't do anything with this. It's open here. You're going to go up here where there are, which is parallel to where it is open. And you can watch what I'm going to do. You're going to pull on the 2 outside flaps. Okay. And you may have to get it to work a little bit so you can see that this is your boat. We got the sailboat, you got the sail in here, and you've got, sometimes the bottom is a little bit thick. You can pinch the bottom a little bit to get a more defined boat shape. But there you go. That is your boat. And I had never made a boat before until I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for this. I'd seen it before, but it works very nicely. And hopefully you all have something that looks like this. If you don't, if you have any questions, you can ask me or you can look at it online, but it's a pretty common origami shape. My guess is if you put it in water, it would float for a while. Of course, that would ruin your model. So I don't know if you want to risk your model, but there we go. So this actually took a bit longer than I thought initially. So what I think I'll do is, I think we'll only do this once. I am going to, let's see if I can unmute you all if anyone has questions. And hopefully we have some boats. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. But there you go. There's your origami.
Let's have everyone lift theirs up. You gonna show us yours? Abby, how about yours? Great. I didn't do so well. So if you guys could take a picture, maybe you can send it to us and we can show everybody in the pack how to make one of these boats, how you made yours. And we can also share the video. Do you guys want a little bit of time to talk?
Maybe we can, you know, design, color the boats and then send the pictures in.
Yeah, and another thing you can do, again, most origami, it's prettier. Like I have here, origami is generally a square, okay? And most origami paper is square. The reason why we're using, you know, something that's plain is because we needed a rectangle. But you could also color one side or before you fold it, if you want to make another one, because that would look nice. You know, most origami paper looks more like that. It's a line that's different on both sides. But yeah, if you wanted to make it again, I would recommend you color one side. You could color both sides, and it might look nice that way as well.
And then you just start a paper boat. This is not a paper boat.
Kira, how about you go ahead and turn off the recording button?
Turn off? No.
So does anyone else have any questions? No? I'm sorry, honey, is your name Jay?
I am. Yeah.
Okay. What, do you have a question?
Could it be like...
Kaylin wants to break. She did a whole science experiment.
Jay, what's your question?
Could it be made in a boat with a scare?
Could it be made what?
Like a boat with a spare?
Maybe can you type it maybe? Because I can't hear what you're saying. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, if you have any questions, maybe your parents can email me. Let me see.
So, Jay, you had a rectangle, correct, when you started? So, Kira, can you make this with just a square?
No. No, it won't. The proportions don't work. When I learned how to make it, they said specifically, do not do a square. It will not work. So that way, it's different than other origami because most origami is a rectangle. A lot like the crane. A lot of this stuff is a rectangle. Is a square, but this one you need a rectangle.
My mom used a square to make this.
Not sure that could it be made with. All right, so I think that's good then. If you have any other questions, you can have your parents contact me. But it looks like we got a lot of boats out of this, so that's good because it's hard to do it on the computer when I can't actually adjust the model if people are having problems. All right, so I think I am going to end this, and I hope you guys had fun. So.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.